Third form where byte and hash constant. The byte is can be a register or any memory address, and hash constant means number, any number you are giving. Okay. Then complement. So complement will always be performed with accumulator CPL-A. Okay. So these are the example. Okay. In this example, these are the normal, you are using any memory, or if you want to affect the these operation does not affect, generally does not affect the program status word, but if you want to affect the program status word, then we have to this PSW register or PSW program status word register to affect them directly. Okay, so suppose you want to carry bit or any bit, carry bit or auxiliary register or overflow value set, whatever value you want to set, we simply end them. Okay, so PSW and 1100111. So this will this instruction will end the whatever the value are stored in program status word, it will be end with the this E7, whatever the value of E7 is, even the binary number represented E7 is this one. Okay, so the instruction will be ended and the result will be stored into the PSW. Okay. Force individual bits high. If you want to set the individual bits high, then we can set whatever bits you want to high. Suppose we want to third bit and fourth bit to be high, so we give this bit as a 1 and rest of bits as a 0. So in this case the bits remain same, whatever the value of 0 bit, 1 bit, 2 bit and fifth bit, 6 bit, 7, it will not be affected. Okay, and the bit of the third bit and fourth bit will be set high, it will become 1, whatever the value of the third bit and fourth bit, it will become 1, whether it is a 0 or it is a 1, it will become 1. Okay, same way if you want to complement up any particular bit, we will simply XOR them. Okay, so that will be complemented. If the bit is same, if the bit is 1, so 1 1 becomes 0. Okay, so to apply the complement on any register, okay, or any you can say any register or any byte, then we use the XLR. We cannot use the complement because complement function is only used with the accumulator. Okay, so in the so complement any individual bit, we can use the XLR operation or XOR operation as for the complementing any individual bit. Or if you want to affect the program status word, particular bit, one to particular bit, any high or low, we can use this program status word. Okay. Then there are other logical instruction also. Clear, that is clearing any bit. Clear can be applied to any bit and it will set that bit to 0. Clear means 0. Okay, that will be set to 0. If we want to set any bit high, then there is another instruction represented as set B. Instruction, this is not coming to the logical instruction. Okay, but this instruction set any bit you are giving any bit address, then it will be set to 1, or if you want to set that bit to 0, then we use this clear instruction CLR. Then RL rotate left, RLC rotate left through carry, means carry bit will be also used in rotation, and RR rotate right, RRC rotate right through carry, in this carry bit is also used, carry flag is also used, and swap accumulator nibbles. Okay, whatever the value is in the accumulator, its bits will be exchanged. For low level bits will be exchanged with the higher level bits. Okay, in swap. So clear instruction. Okay, so clear A, in this way all the bits in accumulator A will be 0. Okay, whatever the bits you are assigning in the accumulator, it will become 0. All the bits become 0. Similar way, clear byte, any address which is represented by the byte will be 0. Clear RI 0, so whatever the value in the register R0, it will become 0. Clear at the rate RI 0, whatever the memory location is stored in RI, register R0, R1, R2 up to R7, the value at that memory location will be set to 0. Okay, all the, because bits become 0 means all value will be set to 0. So in this way clear can also be used to set all bits to a 0, or clear can also be used to set a particular bits to 0. Okay, so rotate instruction. How rotate the RLA? So suppose the value of A is 4 times 1 and 4 times 0. So as soon as we apply this RRA, the bits will be rotate left. Every bits will be rotate left. Okay. So it is not like a shift. What happened in the shift? In shift there is no loop. Okay. In shift, if you have done the programming in C and you apply the shift operation, in shift operation the bits simply shifted to the left or right. Okay, they don't do the cycle. In this, it is a cyclic instruction. So whatever the 7 bit, it will become the 0 bit, and 0 bit become to 1 bit, 1 bit become 2, 2 become 3, 3 become 4, 4 become 5, and so on. So this this one at the bit 7 will come to the at the position 0. So 1 bit come to the position 0, and then all bits shifted to the next higher position. Okay, so these rotation instructions are different from shift instruction, because in shift we shift the bits, there is the bit shifted and the new bits will become the 0, but here it is a rotation. Okay, keep it in mind. Then rotate right. In this way we do the right rotation. So all the bits shifted to the right, and this value at the 0 will come to the highest position. Okay, highest bit. So 0, 0, 0, 0 move to the this one. So the 7 bit becomes 0 and all the bits become 1. Okay, move to the right. So simple RRA or sorry, it's RLA. RLA and RRA. Okay. Then rotate through carry. In rotate through carry, what we do? We add the carry bit also in the rotation. Okay. So suppose this is your register accumulator, and when you perform a right rotate C, so in this case the lowest bit, whatever stored in the accumulator, it will be moved to the carry, and the carry bit will be moved to the highest position of the accumulator, that is 7th position of the accumulator, 7th bit position of the accumulator. So for example, the value of A is 49. We add the value, we first move A9, value A9 into the A. So now the value of A is 89. Then add 14 into the A, so it becomes BD. In hexadecimal, it becomes BD. The binary representation is 10111101. Okay, and during this addition, no carries bit generated. The value of C is 0. Okay, then we perform right rotation through carry A. Okay, so in this case, but when we are doing the right rotation, this 1 will be moved to the carry flag. So carry bit will become now 1, and the value of carry will be moved to the highest position of the accumulator. So the value of carry is 0, and now the highest position accumulator becomes 0. Okay, and all the bits shifted to the right. So the final value of after RRC operation A, the final value of accumulator is 010111110, and the carry flag is now set as a 1. Okay, same with RLC. Whatever the value of the carry is, it will be moved to the first 0 bit of the accumulator, and all the bits shifted to the left, and the highest bit, the value at the highest bit will be moved to the carry. So suppose the value in accumulator is 3C, that is 00, 4 times 1 0 0, and here we set bit C. Okay, here we set carry bit as 1. Set B, whatever wherever you apply the set B operation, it will set that bit to 1 high. Okay, so now the value of carry bit become 1. Now after that we perform rotate left carry through carry operation. So all the bits move to the left using including the carry flag. So after this operation, the value of A become 0111011, and the carry will become 0, because this 0 highest position 0 move to the carry. Okay, so carry becomes 0, and the accumulator of the value of the accumulator after the operation is 0, 4 times 1 0 1. Okay. So by this way we apply the RRC or RLC operations. Also, we can you because as we know that shifting left is same as shifting left is same as multiplying by 2, and shifting right is divided by 2. Okay, but we don't have a shift operations. Okay, we don't have any shift operations in 8051, so we can use this RLC operation as a shift operations. Okay, for what happen to do that, what we have to do, we can simply, because if you apply the normal operation RL or RR. So what will happen, simply it will move the values of the accumulator only. Okay, but we don't want the value of the accumulator come into again accumulator. So we use this RLC operation. What happened in the RLC operation? First we clear the carry flag. So now the carry flag becomes 0. Okay, and what happened in shift operation? The new, whatever new bit is inserted, it will be a 0 bit. Okay, so now we apply RLC A. So the value of accumulator, what will happen? The highest position of A will be go to the carry, so carry will become 0, and the value of carry will come to the RLC operate RLC. Okay, so now it will come to the A, so it is multiplied by 2, so it is shifted 1 bit through carry. So for 5 times 0, 110, it is becomes 6. Okay, now we again see that the highest bit, we know that the highest bit is 1. Okay, so again we can apply the RLC operation. It will not affect the any value. Okay, because this way the after this operation the value of carry is again 0, so it will not affect the multi shift operation. So again we shift apply the shift, then it will become 12. Okay, then we'll again apply the if you want to divide, then we simply, because the again the value of carry is 0, so if you want to divide, we can perform the RRC operation. So it will divide by the 2 number. For example, if by anyhow the value of this is become 1, okay, then we cannot apply this become, oh sorry, anyhow how this becomes 1. Okay, the value of carry is 1, and we apply the rotation, right rotation. So if the bit is 1 and we apply the operations, so after this operation the accumulator value will be 111. Okay, that is your 7, and it is not the multiple of 2. So that's why before applying applying multiply or divide using divide by shift or multiply by shift, if you want to perform shift operation, so we have to clear the carry flag. It is necessary to clear the carry flag. Okay, so after clearing carry flag, RLC or RSC can be multiplied as a shift right or shift left rotations. Okay, so that's why we don't need any extra operations for this. We can perform shift operation using RLC and clear operation included. The last one is swap. What happens in swap? In swap, the lower level bits are exchanged with the higher level bits. So for example, move as 72H. The value of 70. Now the value of A is 72. Okay. 72, that is equivalent to it is equivalent to 0111 and 0010. So after swap operation, these lower 4 bits will be exchanged with these higher 4 bits. So what will become after this operation, swap operation, the value of accumulator will become 10 and 0111. Okay, so these lower level 4 bit okay. Up to now we are applying these all the operation on the you can say on the registers on a 8-bit register, but these operations are bit addressable also. That means we can apply on any bit addressable location or any SFR register. So these are the example NLC bit. Okay, so whatever means whatever bit, whatever address you are given in this bit address, it will be end with the value of the carry flag, same with or with the carry flag. Clear C, because carry flag is bit addressable RAM, it is only 1 bit RAM or 1 bit memory address. Okay, so it will be clear bit, whatever bit you are given here, whether it is any, for example, you are given any particular pin of any port 0, 1 or 2, then that port will become 0. Okay. Now the next type of instructions are program flow control instructions. Okay, so in program flow control instruction there are two type of jump instruction. First one is unconditional jump, that is jump direct jump. Okay, without any checking condition. Second one is conditional jump, that first checks the condition, and if condition is true then it is jump, and if condition is false the next instruction will be executed. And the third category is jump using function. So whenever you are calling a function, the call and return used as a jump. Call used to jump to that function location, and return is used to jump, come back from that function, okay, to the callee. So these are the type of jump instruction: S jump, short jump, okay, unconditional jump are S jump, short jump, and then address. Whatever address you want to jump, 8-bit address, whatever 8-bit address you want to jump, we will jump to that address. So we know that we can go forward up to 128 bits and go backward to 127 location. Then long jump, that uses 16 bits addresses. Okay, then I jump, okay, that uses 11-bit addresses, and you can also jump using a data pointer. Okay, data pointer is jump like index jump. For example, jump to a particular location of a array. Okay, so it is used as a the index jump. So for example, you assigned an address, start, okay, and move C. We move the value of 7 pin port 3 into carry flag, C flag. Okay, then this value will be again moved to the P1.6, and as jump start, we will then move to the jump. So this is like an infinite loop. If this way, we can also define an infinite loop in microcontroller. Okay, so this is how jump work. Whenever this instruction is executed, start, so this start will be to the jump to the label at start. There is no condition or checking, we just simply jump to that location. Okay, we can also use a jump table, that will be much like a case switch cases. Okay, so for example, here we first define a data pointer. Okay, jump table address or jump table memory location is stored into the data pointer. Then move a index number. So first we will get to the this jump label. After going to this, which case we want to execute or which condition. There are also, suppose there are 4 to 5 cases that you want to execute. So case 0, case 1, case 2, which location you want to jump, you have to give the index number of that location here. Okay, perform right rotation. After using right rotation, we can move to the 1 by 1. Okay, left 1 by 1, then jump at the rate a pointer. So we, after using this a pointer, we find the index of this location. From data pointer we get to this jump table, and from this a pointer we found which case we want to jump. Whatever the value of a plus addition data pointer is, we will jump to that case, and the instruction under these cases will be executed. Okay, so in this way jump table, we can use a switch case like instruction using jump table. Then conditional jumps. Okay, conditional jump has two. Conditional jump always go into the two branches. Okay, first it checks the condition. If condition is true, then it will be jump. If condition is false, the next instruction will be executed. So in this case, for example, loop move a p1. The value of p1 will be moved into the a, and jump z loop. Okay, so jump z, what it do, it checks the value of accumulator. Jz check the value of accumulator. If the value of accumulator is 0, it will be jump. If the value of accumulator is not 0, it will move to the next instruction. So it will check here jump z loop, so it will check the value of accumulator, If the accumulator is 0, it will jump to the loop, condition is true. If not 0, it will move to the next stage, that is move B, A comma B. Okay, there is no zero flag. Unlike our microprocessor and most advanced processor, there is always a which have a zero flag to check whether the value of that flag is 0 or not. In 8051 there is no zero flag. Okay, so we can use the value of accumulator to check to work as a zero flag. Okay, so content of a check for 0 on time in this ZZ operation. So these are some of the jump operation. Jump Z relative address. Okay, so jump Z will check the value of the accumulator. If the value of accumulator is equal to 0, it will move to that address which is given after the jump of instruction. Jump not 0, jump not 0. If the value of accumulator is not 0, then it will move to that address which is given after the jump label, or you can say label. Otherwise it will go to the next instruction. Same JC used for jump if the carry is equal to 1. So if the carry bit is set, then it will jump to the next location. If the and JNC is if carry bit is not set, means carry bit is 0, then it will jump to the next address. JB bit. Okay, so it will take JB, JNB, it will take 2 operands. In ZC, JNG, JC, JNC, it takes only one operand, that is location of the jump address. Okay, but because in JC we the first A is already defined, it will always check the value of A. JC always check the value of C. But in JB, JNB and JBC, they always check the value of first operand, that is given as a bit addressable. So if the value of that operand is 1, okay, then it will jump to the address. In this case JNB, if the value of A is not equal to 1, then it will jump to that address. JBC, in what happened in JBC, if bit is equal to 1, that it jump to that address same as this one, and after jumping it cleared the bit. Okay, so means if the bit is suppose 1 and after jumping the bit will become 0. CJNE, compare the memory of A and the value that you are given. If the value is not equal, any for not equal, then it will jump. Okay, and if it is equal, it will not jump. So here is an example. If A equal to 0 is true, set A0 to let, set the let की value 0, let pin की value 0 हो जाएगी, और else let pin की value 1 हो जाएगी. So for example, suppose हमारी let pin port 1 के 6th pin से connect है. Let is connected by the 6th pin of port 1. Okay, so if the value of A is 0, then this value should be 0. Okay, and if the value of accumulator is 1, then this pin should be 1. Okay, so ZZ led off. ZZ, what happened in ZZ? We check the value of the accumulator. If the value of accumulator is 0, it will jump to the led off. Go to the led off later, and CLR P1.6. Clear what happened in the CLR? CLR set the bit to the 0. So the 6th bit of port 1 will be set cleared. That is set to the 0, and it will move to the next instruction. Otherwise, what happened? Set B P1.3. If it is not 0, this instruction become false, condition become false, and we move to the next instruction. So the next instruction is set B P1.C. So set B P1.C, we set the 6th bit of port 1 to 1. It is means LED on, and the LED will be blinking now, and SJump SKey power. Then after that, we don't want to execute these instruction again. We don't want to off the LED. So SJump, we do a unconditional jump, that is move to the next instruction, which is starting from escape power. So SJump escape power, and we move to the escape. Okay. So in this way we can use the jump instruction. There are some other jump instruction also. For example, SJNE A data. So A can be compared with the data also. Okay. So same way RN data. We can also compare the value of register and data. Same way RN and data. Indirect memory addressing and data. So we can compare the data which is stored at the memory address is stored at a register Rn with the second operator that is given as data. If these values are equal, then it will jump. If not equal, then it will jump. If equal, then condition is false and move to the next operation. DZ and J. These two instructions are again most important. What they do, they first decrement the operand, whatever operand you are given here, its value will be decremented and then check against 0. Okay, so value is decremented, and if value is not 0, it will be to the jump, and if it is 0, it will move to the next location. So first value is decremented, then it will check against 0. If it is 0, then the condition becomes false and next instruction will be executed. If it is not 0, then it will move to the back to the label whatever given to the relative address. So for example, if you want to perform an increment loop for a equal to 0 to 4, what we do, first we assign the accumulator value 0, that is clear A. We set the value of accumulator 0, then perform the body of the loop, whatever the instructions are given, we execute those instructions. Increment A, value of A is incremented, and compare the value of A against 4. So Cj any A with data value 4. So if it is not equal, if this value is not equal, it will jump to the loop, and if it is equal, we will go out, come out of the loop, and the next instruction will be executed. So in this way we can use the incremental loop. And if you are using a decremental loop, that is from 4 to 0, what we do, first we, for example, we assign this value 4 into any register, or you can say move R0 into 4, we assign the value in 4, then from loop we executed all the instruction in the loop. Okay, and then we came to the R0, because the loop is executed one time, we decrement the value of R0. DJ and J what do? It first decrement the value of the whatever operand you are given, the value that operand will be decremented by 1. So we decrement the value of R0 and check whether it is a 0 or not. If it is 0, it will come out of the loop. Okay, and if it is not 0, then it will jump back to the loop. So it will first it will be 4 decremented by 3. So now it is 3, it will be 3 is not equal to 0, so again loop instruction will be executed, then it is decremented, again decremented until it becomes 0. Okay, so as soon as it becomes 0, the condition will become false and we get out of the loop. These are the some example of iterative loops. Okay, in this example there is no iteration in the loop. These are simple one time execution. We move the value in A, then we move the value, this value 0 0 into B, and we check if A is equal to 50H or not. If A is equal to 50H, then this instruction will be executed. If A is not equal to 50H, then it will move to the next. Okay, so in this case, because we already assigned the value in 50H and this value is also 50H, so compare Z and what will the output will become, it will become false, because the value are equal. So as soon as become false, this instruction will be executed, and then no, and the next instructions are executed. Okay, this is the single iteration loop. Here we assign the whatever value you are storing to the A. Okay, this value is time, and R0, and this is the loop iteration variable. So the value of R2 is 5. Okay, so until the value of R2 becomes 0, these two instructions will be executed. Okay, first R2, these two instructions will be executed, and as soon as this instruction executed, R2 की value पहले decrement होगी, it will be decremented by 1. So R2 become 4, and 4 is not equal to 0, then again move to the label, jump to the label again, and these two instructions executed again, and then value of R2 is decremented. Now it will become 3, and again 3 is not equal to 0, so these instructions will be executed until the value of R2 become 0. As soon as the value of R2 becomes 0, the condition becomes false. Okay, because now the R2 value 0, so this becomes false, so next instruction will be executed. This is the example of iterative nested loops. If suppose you have two loops, Okay, so using this example, we can execute nested loops. So what happened in this case? R6 is your inner loop, and B is using for your outer loop. Okay, so first value of R6 is 50. Okay, so we move the value R6 to 50. Then back to complement a whatever instruction you are given inside of the nested loop, that instruction will be executed, and we check the value, decrement the value of R6. So the R6 will be decremented by 1, it is become 49, and we check whether it is a 0 or not. So it is not 0, so move to the back 2. So these instructions CPLA will be executed how many times? 50 times it will be executed, because first it will become 49, 48, 46, 47. So this inner loop will be executed for 50 times, and as soon as RC becomes 0, okay, so this condition becomes false and next instruction executed. So we assign the value of B to 10. Okay, so the value of B is 10, so this loop will be executed 10 times. Okay, so now value of B becomes 9 because it is decremented by 1, so becomes value of B becomes 9, and then go back to the jump to the back one level again, assign value R6 is equal to 50, and this again, this instruction executed 50 times. Okay, so the value of B is 10 and value of R6 is 50, so total time these instruction will be executed at 50 into 10, that is 500 times these instruction will be executed. So the outer, you can say the outer loop is for I equal to 1 to 10, and the inner loop is I equal to 1 to 50, j equal to 1 to 50. So in this way we can also use the you can say nested loops. This is another example of loop, okay, in which we are just incrementing the value of a by 5. First we assign the value of 0 to a, okay, and then we move R4 equal to 12, the value of R4 is 12, okay, and we are decrementing R4 by 1, okay. So the value of A will be added by 5 up to 12 times. So you can say it is simply A is multiply 5 into 12. This is like multiplying A, storing the value in A, 12 into 5, that is 60, okay. And as soon as these loops ended, we move back the value of A to R5 register. Whatever is next instruction you want to execute, it will come into the back. Okay. Then call instructions. So there are two call instructions. Okay. As we know, there are two type of address 11 and address 16. So if you are using address 11 bit, then we use A call, ahead call. And if you are using 16-bit long address, you are using long call, L call. So what happened in the call? Because whenever you execute whenever you call a function, the you can say the instruction or program counter move to that function location, and the instruction on those functions started executing, and after when this function is executed, finished execution, it came back to the calling function. Okay, so as in this, okay, so suppose main is executing this function and main call this a call function. So now the program jumps to this sub level, and all the instruction is this function will start executing, and this function, when this function stops, it come back to this location. Okay, this function, this next instruction will be executed. So if the program counter is currently pointing this location, and when we want to come back from the function, this instruction should be executed. So in this case we have to save the value of program counter. So before calling any function, the program counter will be stored into the stack, and after that the address or the jump, whatever the address of the function is, that will be stored into the program counter. Okay, so in this case what will happen, before calling this before jumping to the sub level, the program counter, whatever the value of program counter is, first it will be stored into the stack, and then it will jump back to the sub level, and as soon as these sub level is start execution completed its execution, and this return address is encountered. What happened in return address, we pop back that program counter value from the stack, and get the address of the instruction where we want to start execution. So we pop back the value of the program counter, and that program counter tells us the location. Okay, the last location was from in main instruction, the last location was this address. So we jump back to the this address. So in calling, the this program counter is stored into the stacks, and in returning function, the stack the value of program counter is popped from the stack and stores into the PC variable, PC register. Okay, so generally SP is initialized to 0. Whenever we reset or power set the value, the SP is initialized to 07 memory address, or you can say same as R7 address, which each push of operation, first PC is increased. Whenever you push an operation, PC is increased. Okay, and whenever you are calling a routine, generally we move the stack pointer to 2F. It is a general notation, or you can say a programming convention, to move the stack pointer to 2F. Okay, number at the memory location 2F to setting the stack pointer. By subroutine, we also know that subroutines provided the space code and break the larger codes into the small modules. So these are the advantages of subroutine. We are not going into that. Okay. Delay. How subroutine is work? Suppose we want to delay a particular loop, okay, a particular function. So in this way, we can also implement the subroutines. Okay. So for example, if you see in this function here, the value of a is double A, okay, and we assign that value into P0, okay, port 0, whatever the value of a is, it is moved to the port 0. Then we call delay 1. Okay, so what is happening in delay 1? Delay 1 is using two loops, or you can say nested loops. Okay, so when single loop, when we came to the delay 1, so move R0 FFH. So what happened is R0, the value of R0 is become FFH. What is the value of FFH? All the bits are set to 1. The value of R0, all the bits are set to 1, or you can say 255 decimal value. Okay, then we reduce the value of R0 one by one until it becomes 0. Okay, so D0 0, what happens here? We check the value of R0. First 255, the value of current value of R0 is 255, it is not equal to 0. So we first we decrement the value of R0, it is 254, it is decremented, it is not equal to 0. Then this line, this particular line will be executed how many times? 255 times, because the value in R0 is FF double F, that is all bits are set. Okay, all bits are 1. So in 8-bit register, if all bits are 1, it is 255. Okay, so the value of R0 is 255. So this loop will be executed 255 times until the value of R0 becomes 0. As soon as the value of R0 becomes 0, the condition becomes false, and we can go to the return address. Then return will back to this CPL instruction, complement A instruction. Okay, and as jump back 1, where you again want to back 1, that is your back 1 instruction. Okay, so how many times this cycle takes, or how many times of cycle delay happen in this loop? This delay 1, there is only one instruction, so one instruction take one machine cycle. So for this delay cycle, it is one machine cycles. Okay, in this down instruction, there are two things are happening. First, we are decrementing the value of R0. So decrementing a value is another decrement instruction. So it will take one machine cycle, and then we are comparing the values. So again, comparing value takes, you can say, 2 cycles. Okay, so in this instruction 2 cycles are happening. Okay, so 2 cycles are running for how many times? 255 times. So 255 start to, okay, this instruction is between 255 start to, then return address. Again, return is jumping, so jumping always take jump address, you can say jump address always take 2 cycles. So this returns will always first fetching the value and then jumping to dash location. Okay, so what happening in return? First is jumping, and second one is, if you have seen the return, in return what is happening, we assign the value of PC. Okay, we pop the value from stack pointer and assign it to the program counter. Okay, so that is that instruction is also happening in the return instruction. So there is 2 cycle. So total number of cycle that is happening in this particular single loop is 513 cycle, 513 cycles, and here we are using two loops. So you can calculate in that in two loops, same 255 times 255 times. These two loops are executing 255 times. Here we are using two loops for delay here. So here total are 1,30,808 machine cycles are delaying here. Okay. So it is a simple mathematics that you can check. And how in this way we can apply the long delay. Okay, this is not our file. Okay, first we assign the value, jump to the green light again, and whenever you are jumping again, we call the delay. And in this delay there are loop 1, loop 0, and in loop 1 we are assigning to how R5, R6, R7 as a variable to count the decrement the or to run the loops. How many the as many variable as you are using the delay, as many times it will be the delayed. The program will be delayed or subroutine will be delayed. Okay. So I think this is enough for today. These are all the examples of the how calling function are executing. Okay. So you can check into the book, or I will provide you the slide. You can check that too. Okay. So here we stop all the machine instructions are completed. Okay. So next time we will see the timer or how timer are working or interrupts are working in the you can say 8051 counter. So
Sir?
just
Sir, what will be syllabus for midterm?
I asked to the sir about the midterm syllabus. He said that he will inform you, and for now you can assume whatever is covered till the whatever will be covered till the exam, that will come into the midterm. Okay, and sir said they will, specific topics will be mailed to you.
And sir, the material, study material, the PPTs, will you give us that?
Yeah, I will. Actually, the sir gave whatever sir slides, whatever the slides sir gave me, that will I will forward it to you. And these are the slides that I am using from some other sites. Okay, I will give these slides also to you. Okay, so whatever slide or material provided to me by the sir, or whatever I downloaded from the net, I will give it to you today itself. Okay.
But sir, the syllabus is actually the syllabus is whole, because we have the classes till 12th March, and sir, all the teachers have covered the whole syllabus till the end term. So the syllabus for midterm should be a part of it.
Actually, I don't know specifically about the syllabus. Okay, so I will. Need, so you have covered the Anthem all the Anthem course in this embedded system.
No, sir, in other subjects also, because after this there will be no offline classes, theory classes.
Okay.
So, sir, the whole syllabus is covered in all other subjects also.
Okay. I will clear it with the sir, and then inform it in the mail or the classroom, whatever sir tell me. Okay. Clearly, I will clear it with the sir today.
Or phone number.
This is my phone number or WhatsApp number. You can. This is my WhatsApp number or phone number. I will talk to the sir about the syllabus and give you the topic or whatever sir instruct me. I will message you as that way. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
And if I forget, just anyone I have also given you the my mailing address also. So either just ping me on this WhatsApp number or mail me in the evening. Okay. And if I forget how I forget something, then I will mail you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.